Okay, let's get to the news. Real quick, St. Patrick's Day was last Sunday, but a lot of parades occurred on Saturday. In fact, the New York one was on Saturday. So I thought this was an interesting story from Stripes.com. The Fighting 69th leads New York City's St. Patrick's Day parade for 173rd year in a row.
It's amazing.
A New York Army National Guard regiment with deep ties to Irish American history once again took the lead in New York City's St. Patrick's Day parade for the 173rd year in a row. Soldiers with the 1st Battalion, 69th Infantry Regiment, the Fighting 69th, marched at the head of Saturday's parade, one of the world's largest Irish heritage parades. Okay, so let me show you. There's the Fighting 69th, right? Which is funny because when I first read it, I was like, long ties to Irish heritage, and I'm like, oh,
they're Irish as shit, man. You can't see that.
Anyway, so you picked up on that too. This year marks the return of the 800 soldier battalion to the front lines of the parade following their deployment to the Horn of Africa last year. Jeez, you get activated and go to the Horn of Africa.
Get you in the booty, Djibouti.
Djibouti.
That's a little. The Horn of Africa is a little bit south than Djibouti.
Djibouti.
Right. It's would love to know what that mission was. The regiment formed in 1849 as a New York State militia made up of Irish immigrants. 2 years later, amidst anti-Irish Catholic sentiment, they were asked to lead the parade and fend off any attackers. So you guys get up there and fend on and keep the parade route clear.
See, I tell you, look, there's that other National Guard guys that have been activated to patrol the subway. Now they're fending off people at the parade.
Well, that was let's see, that was in 1849.
Oh, okay.
That's how they started, right?
New York setting a precedent.
The day began with an Irish whiskey toast at 6 a.m. at the historic Lexington Avenue Armory. Soldiers adorned their uniforms with sprigs of boxwood to emulate their Irish American predecessors who fought at the Battle of Fredericksburg during the Civil War, while officers of the unit received blackthorn fighting sticks, considered the mark of an Irish leader and gentleman, according to a New York National Guard news release. Before dawn, they marched in formation to St. Patrick's Cathedral, where they attended a mass to remember the regiment's fallen and to honor its heritage. Then the parade began in earnest. So, look, that's kind of scary that they put those guys out in front, right? It's like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, you guys have bolts in those weapons? I hope not, because maybe they're going from the parade right down to the subway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. Damn it.
I don't know.
That's valid.
So there's a little eyes right. Okay, now this next one, I don't want to be nitpicky, but I'm going to be nitpicky.
Do it, Marty.
So that's part of the brigade marching. Now, what I notice of that is that you have mixed uniforms.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the only thing I can think of is the guys with that new kind of pink and green uniform, that old World War II uniform. They're probably the ones that came off of active duty, I would imagine. Right? Because they already had them.
Yeah.
Right? The National Guard guys have the old uniform, which used to be the dress blues, but now it's just, it was the old Army Class A service. And then you got them mixed up. Now, I would have thought you'd be like, okay, all you guys with brown and tan, you guys be together. I don't care if it's your squad or not, but it'll look better. It won't look so mishmash, right? Anyway, that was my take on it.
My only issue is they're not like, I want them to be shortest to tallest. That's whatever my ick is. Like, I don't care about anything else. Why aren't they
That's an Air Force thing. That is definitely an Air Force thing, because the Army never did shortest to tallest.
And I don't even, like, I'm not a big, like, pomp and circumstance guy, but I'm like, damn, y'all couldn't go, like, shortest to tallest? Like, give everyone a view, Shit.
I agree with that one. It is an Air Force thing, but
It is.
Fucking line it up, man. Just
Yeah.
and it looks
Fair,
good.
Fair.
It's like a perfect slope.
But this one has
like,
no shortest to tallest. It has
Yeah, you got
mishmash
that
uniforms.
one guy up there, like 8 foot tall, and everybody
Yeah,
else
dude,
is
that dude's
5'5".
dunking. Like, he's
You can
dunking
see
on
his whole
fools.
face above everybody else.
Maybe everybody except that guy 2/3 of the way down, who's also 6'5". Maybe everybody else is 5'7" in
Yeah,
that
man.
fucking thing, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
The drill instructor is like, damn it, Spaz, every time. Every time. Just keep
So-
tapping. I don't know if I'm taller than him. You're taller than him. Get up
You're
there.
not. Can you see over his hat? I know you guys are wondering, what is a sprig of boxwood, you ask, right?
I was.
Very curious.
Well,
Yeah.
I found this on backstoryradio.org, and I thought it was interesting. So
Backdoor
in December,
radio?
backstoryradio.org. In
Sorry.
December 1862, Union and Confederate troops met at Fredericksburg, Virginia. At the end of 4 days of fighting, there was no ambiguity about which side had won. Fredericksburg is remembered as one of the most lopsided Confederate victories of the entire conflict. One Union charge in particular, the assault on a Confederate protected hill behind a stone wall, would amount to more or less a suicide mission for the unit selected to lead it, a unit made up largely of Irish immigrants called the Irish Brigade, known by the appropriately emerald green flag its soldiers carried into battle. That's the 69th. That winter's day in Fredericksburg, the brigade's battle-worn flag was making its way back to New York for some much-needed repair, so the troops instead put sprigs of green boxwood in their caps to identify their Irish heritage. Nearly half the brigade were casualties at Vicksburg. 545 of 1,200 men were killed, wounded, or missing. But in the years after the war, it was commonly said that no one showed more bravery in the face of certain death than the troops who had marched on the hill with the greenery in their hats. So that's where that comes from.
Nice.
Thought that was pretty interesting.
That's 173 years, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I know you're also asking, hey, Marty, what are blackthorn fighting sticks? Right?
I imagine those like
Oh.
tongs from the
It's a
Ah.
shillelagh. It's
Oh.
a shillelagh.
Okay.
Right? The blackthorn is found throughout Ireland and the British Isles, and it has been prized for centuries as a material for premium walking sticks. The most well-known incarnation of the classic blackthorn stick was the Irish shillelagh, a tool that was so fearsome in trained hands that the English outlawed it. To circumvent the law, the Irish modified the shillelagh into the classic walking stick that we are familiar with today. So they were beating English ass with that thing.
That's nice.
That
Kinda
looks
like-
like the Native American weapons too, right? Where they had
Kind
the
of.
big ball on the end.
Yeah.
That looks very similar.
Now I
Yeah.
saw I was going to do a video by some of these armor manufacturers that made shillelaghs, but they were just outlandish. Just guys just whacking shit and beating the shit out of stuff with that thing. So I was like, and it just had this hardcore music, and I was like, ugh, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Okay.
So the 69th it's interesting because that 69th Regiment has a long history to it, and it went up through all the world wars. This is I found this. That was a recruitment, a World War I recruitment flyer for the 69th Infantry. It was pretty interesting.
Huh.
They're like, hey, don't be drafted into some regiment where you don't know anyone. Come and join us. Go die for your country.
Go
with
to the
your
front
friends.
with your friends.